The town of Riverbend was known for its stunning views. Nestled along the sparkling river, it had charming cobblestone streets and colorful cottages, where flowers bloomed in every garden. The townspeople often gathered by the water, laughing and sharing stories, especially when the sun set and painted the sky in brilliant hues of orange and pink. But one gloomy afternoon, dark clouds gathered ominously. A sudden storm swept across the skies, bringing with it heavy rain that fell like 1,000 drumming feet. The river, usually calm and serene, grew wild and angry as the water swelled dangerously close to the banks. Panic began to settle in as townsfolk rushed to prepare their homes for what seemed like an impending flood. With this storm, not only were lives threatened, but the plans of a wanderer, an adventurous stage scout, would soon lead him into the heart of a gripping tale about bravery, friendship, and choices that could change everything. Amidst the turmoil in Riverbend, Sister Maria stood at the edge of the abbey's garden, her heart pounding with uncertainty. A young nun with a kind spirit and dreams of freedom, she had spent years within the convent's walls, adhering to strict rules that felt suffocating. Each day blended into the next, filled with prayers and chores, leaving little room for her own desires. As dark clouds began to gather above, Sister Maria made a brave decision. She longed to explore the world outside, to find her own path and discover who she truly was. With a small satchel packed with essentials and a sense of determination, she slipped away from the abbey under the cover of rain. The storm mirrored her inner turmoil, but it also offered her a chance at adventure. Yet, as she ventured further from the familiar, she couldn't shake the feeling that her choice would lead to unforeseen challenges, and perhaps someone who could help her along the way. Jake the stage scout was no stranger to adventure. With a lively passion for the performing arts, he traveled from town to town, searching for hidden talent to fill the roles of his traveling theater troupe. His striking blue eyes danced with excitement whenever he imagined the stories he could bring to life on stage. As he arrived in Riverbend, he was inspired by the quaint charm of the town and hoped to discover some local performers. Little did he know that his timing would coincide with a storm that would change everything. The dark clouds rolled in just as he set up camp, and the sound of thunder echoed like applause from an unseen audience. While seeking shelter from the rain, Jake noticed something peculiar, a figure darting away from the abbey under a heavy downpour. Curiosity sparked in his heart, and he decided to follow, sensing that this unexpected meeting could lead him into a tale more thrilling than any play he had ever produced. As the storm above intensified, the river that once flowed peacefully began to swell and surge, transforming into a raging torrent. The townspeople of Riverbend watched in horror as the water crept closer to their homes, rising rapidly with each pulse of the rain. Fear gripped their hearts, prompting everyone to rush into action, barricading doors and moving furniture to safety. Sister Maria, still navigating her new freedom, found herself caught in the frenzy. As she darted through the narrow streets, the sound of rushing water grew louder, echoing her racing heartbeat. The realization hit her that she needed to find higher ground and shelter before it was too late. Panic spread like wildfire as families called out for one another, searching desperately for loved ones amid the chaos. Sister Maria made her way toward an old stone church, a sturdy building that offered hope amidst the rising waters. With every step she took, she felt both fear and anticipation, knowing that this moment would define her journey. As Jake hurried through the rain-soaked streets, his heart raced with urgency. The wind howled around him, and the sound of rushing water filled his ears, making the world feel chaotic. He sought a place to take refuge from the storm when he stumbled upon an abandoned building, its door barely hanging on its hinges. Curiosity piqued, he stepped inside and called out softly, hoping to find anyone who might have sought shelter. A faint rustling caught his attention from a shadowy corner. As Jake approached cautiously, he discovered Sister Maria huddled there, her face pale and eyes wide with fear. She looked like a fragile bird trapped in a storm. "Are you okay?" he asked gently, concern flooding his voice. Sister Maria looked up at him, relief washing over her as she realized she wasn't alone. With floodwaters rising dangerously close outside, they both knew that time was running out, and they needed to find safety together. As Jake and Sister Maria huddled in the dim light of the abandoned building, a heavy tension filled the air. Jake glanced at the flooded streets through a cracked window, weighing his options. He could flee, leaving her behind to save himself, but the thought gnawed at his heart. Sister Maria was scared and alone, and he felt an undeniable urge to protect her. He imagined what would happen if he did nothing. Floodwaters could sweep her away, lost forever in the chaos. But helping her meant venturing back into the storm, risking not only his safety but also his chances of fulfilling his dream as a stage scout. This internal struggle twisted within him. Finally, looking into Sister Maria's wide eyes filled with fear and hope, Jake made his decision. "I won't leave you," he said firmly. "We will find a way out of here together." With that pledge, he felt a surge of courage. They were now allies in this desperate fight against the rising waters. Back at the Abbey, Abbess Agnes paced restlessly in her chamber, her brow furrowed with worry. When she discovered that Sister Maria was missing, her heart filled with a mix of anger and fear. The young nun had always been obedient, and the thought of her fleeing the convent set off alarm bells in the abbess's mind. Determined to bring Sister Maria back at any cost, Abbess Agnes summoned her trusted advisor and 6 mercenaries skilled in tracking and capture. "We cannot allow her to tarnish our name," she declared, her voice firm and unwavering. "Find her and bring her back, even if it means using force." The mercenaries nodded, steely resolve in their eyes, ready to embark on the mission. As they gathered their gear, the storm outside intensified, mirroring the brewing conflict within Riverbend. The abbess was convinced that obedience and duty were paramount, unaware that Sister Maria's quest for freedom had already begun and would soon clash with her command. The 6 mercenaries assembled in the abbey's courtyard, each one a formidable figure. First was Marcus, a burly man with a reputation for his brute strength. He could overpower anyone who stood in his way. Next to him stood Alara, a sharp-eyed archer known for her exceptional aim and stealth, able to track prey without making a sound. Then there was Finn, the clever strategist, who had a knack for planning and outsmarting his opponents. His quick thinking often saved the group from tight situations. Beside him was Lara, skilled in hand-to-hand combat, fearless and agile, always ready to take on any challenge. Rounding out the team were 2 brothers, Theo and Jace, who fought as one, unbreakable in their bond and precise in their movements. With their skills combined, they were determined to find Sister Maria and bring her back to the Abbey. As they set out into the stormy night, each mercenary felt the weight of their mission. Obedience was non-negotiable, and failure was not an option. As the rain continued to pour, Jake and Sister Maria pressed onward through the flooded streets of Riverbend, desperately searching for higher ground. The water rushed around their ankles, but they stayed focused on their goal. Every now and then, they heard the distant shouts of the mercenaries searching for them, sending a fresh wave of urgency through their hearts. Navigating the town became a twisted game of cat and mouse. They ducked behind overturned carts and rushed through narrow alleys, careful to avoid the pools where the water churned dangerously close to their knees. The weight of Sister Maria's safety spurred Jake to move quickly, and he frequently glanced back to ensure they weren't being followed. "Over there." Sister Maria pointed excitedly as they spotted an old boathouse that could provide temporary shelter. Without hesitation, they dashed toward it, hoping it would shield them from the mercenaries' search. As they entered, the door creaked ominously behind them, echoing their anxiety and sealing their fate in this tense chase. Inside the dimly lit boathouse, Jake and Sister Maria caught their breath, the silence enveloping them like a comforting blanket. As the rain drummed against the roof, they exchanged nervous glances, their hearts still racing from their narrow escape. It was in this quiet moment that their bond began to deepen. "Thank you for not leaving me behind," Sister Maria said softly, her voice trembling slightly. "I was so afraid." Jake nodded, feeling a warmth spread through him. "You don't have to thank me. Everyone deserves a chance to be free. What were you dreaming of before all this?" Sister Maria's eyes brightened as she shared her hopes of exploring the world and helping others. In turn, Jake spoke of his dreams of bringing stories to life on stage, revealing his passion for theater. They laughed and shared fears about what lay ahead, knowing each other's struggles made them stronger. In that moment, amidst the chaos outside, they discovered a profound friendship rooted in trust and shared dreams, fueling their determination to face whatever challenges awaited them. Just as Jake and Sister Maria gathered their courage to leave the boathouse, the sound of heavy boots splashing through the water reached their ears. The mercenaries had arrived, closing in on them with determined expressions. Their shouts echoed ominously through the streets, sending a shiver of fear down Sister Maria's spine. Jake's heart raced as he peered out of the boathouse, spotting Marcus leading the charge, flanked by the other mercenaries. "We need to move now," he urged, grabbing Sister Maria's hand. Together, they slipped out the back of the boathouse and dashed down a narrow path along the riverbank, but the rising waters were quickly swallowing everything in their wake. "Stop!" Marcus bellowed, his voice cutting through the rain like thunder. The chase reached a fever pitch as they reached a precarious ledge overlooking the floodwaters below. With nowhere to run, tension crackled in the air as both sides prepared for a dramatic standoff that would determine their fates amidst the chaotic storm. As the tension mounted between the mercenaries and Jake, Sister Maria suddenly felt a chill run down her spine. Out of the shadows emerged Abbess Agnes, her expression steely and resolute. The rain poured heavily around them, but her determination cut through the storm like a knife. "Maria," the abbess called out, her voice ringing above the chaos. "You need to come back with me. This is not the path for you." Sister Maria's heart raced as she faced the abbess, torn between the life she had yearned for and the familiar chains of duty. Abbess Agnes continued, "You have two choices: return with me willingly or face the consequence of these mercenaries." The threat hung in the air like a storm cloud, weighing heavily on Sister Maria's heart. Jake stepped forward, ready to defend her. Caught between loyalty to her past and hope for her future, Sister Maria felt the full force of her decision pressing down on her. Would she choose freedom or return to the Abbey's confines? As the confrontation reached a critical point, Jake's mind raced with desperation. Suddenly, an idea sparked. "Maria, we can use the river," he whispered urgently, gesturing toward the churning waters nearby. "If we create a distraction, we can lead the mercenaries away and then slip past them." "Distraction?" Sister Maria questioned, her eyes wide with excitement and fear. "Right. We'll throw something into the water to make it look like we're trying to escape downstream," he explained, scanning the boathouse for anything useful. He quickly grabbed a loose piece of wood and motioned for her to follow him. Together, they dashed back outside, where Jake flung the wood into the river with all his might. It splashed loudly, drawing the mercenaries' attention instantly. "Now!" Jake urged as he and Sister Maria darted into the shadows along the riverbank. With the mercenaries distracted by the unexpected noise, they moved swiftly and silently, hoping to slip through the chaos and towards their freedom. With the mercenaries distracted, Jake and Sister Maria sprinted down the slippery riverbank, adrenaline coursing through their veins. The rain lashed at their faces as they maneuvered through the rising floodwaters, which churned angrily around their legs. Jake glanced back, spotting Marcus rallying his team, fury written all over his face. "Keep moving," he urged Maria, who nodded resolutely, her determination shining through the fear. They raced along the bank, feeling the waters pull gripping at their feet. The landscape was shifting under the relentless storm, but they pressed on, hearts pounding in unison. Suddenly, a shout echoed behind them. Finn had spotted their escape. Knowing they were running out of time, Jake called out, "We need to get to that tree line." He gestured toward some dense bushes ahead. Racing against time and the rising water, they pushed forward with all their strength. The sounds of pursuit grew nearer, but hope flickered in their hearts as they neared the safety of the trees, ready to vanish into the shadows of the night. As they reached the dense tree line, Jake and Sister Maria paused to catch their breath, the pounding rain creating a curtain of sound around them. Just then, the mercenaries burst through the underbrush, relentless in their pursuit. Jake turned to Sister Maria, urgency in his eyes. "We need to make a choice now." Sister Maria felt her heart racing as she looked back at the mercenaries closing in. She thought of her life at the Abbey, one filled with rules and expectations, and then at the freedom that lay ahead. "I want to be free," she declared firmly, determination flooding her voice. With newfound courage, they dashed deeper into the woods, trusting their instincts to guide them to safety. Behind them, the mercenaries shouted orders, but Jake and Sister Maria kept moving swiftly through the trees. As they finally reached a small clearing away from the chaos, relief washed over them. They had chosen freedom over captivity. Together, they could face whatever challenges awaited them in this uncertain but hopeful new world. As Jake and Sister Maria sat in the clearing, the storm fading into the distance, they took a moment to reflect on their harrowing journey. The chaos of the flood and the pursuit by mercenaries felt like a distant memory, replaced by a newfound sense of freedom. "I never imagined I could be this brave," Sister Maria admitted, her voice soft yet steady. "Leaving the Abbey was terrifying, but I feel more alive than I ever have." Jake nodded, his heart swelling with pride for his companion. "You showed incredible courage." "We both did. It's not just about escaping, it's about discovering who we are." They shared a quiet smile, realizing that their friendship had blossomed through adversity. They had faced fears together and emerged stronger. "Whatever comes next, we'll face it together," Jake promised, his eyes shining with conviction. Sister Maria agreed, feeling empowered by their bond. They had chosen to follow their hearts, and in doing so, had truly found their paths. The future was uncertain, but they were ready to embrace it hand in hand.